Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. I'm one of my drinks I like to drink is Mountain Dew, Code Red. This one here, and today it reminds me of what we're reading here. Kind of Code Red. Hey, pay attention here. It's entitled today. What we're reading about is the law will not get you into the promised land. We just finished, we did 2 episodes just talking about the Song of Moses, where God gave the song to Moses, and Moses told us to the people. And a song, remember, is something that we can easily remember, more easily remember. And so the people would hopefully remember this, and it spells out in there, you will go into idolatry, you'll be taken away as captives, and then, but I'll be there to redeem you when you repent. Today, it's focused just on the end of that chapter, chapter 32 of Deuteronomy, verses 48 to 52. And it's really dealing with Moses. It's God tells Moses here that he's going to die before he gets into the promised land. Then we'll get into chapter 33 tomorrow, where Moses blesses the tribes, but then in chapter 34 he actually dies. Okay, so you could tie chapter 34 in with this, here. It's just a short passage where it talks about what God said that would happen. So let me read that. It's Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 48 to 52. On that same day, the Lord told Moses, "Go up to Abram, to the Abram range, to Mount Nebo in Moab, across from Jericho, and view Canaan, the land I'm giving the Israelites as their own possession. There on the mountain that you have climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people." Okay, we all will die. Okay, and there's only a few people in the Old Testament that did not die, and God took them away, but we all die. Okay, and that's because of our sinful nature. We're born with sin. Because of our sinful nature, we will all die. Okay, and then so it says here that Moses will die, and Romans 3:23 says we're all sinners, and then it goes on in Romans to say how each of us deserves death because of the sin in our lives. Let's read on here, verse 51. This is because both of you, let's go back to 50. There on the mountain that you've climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people. Verse 51. This is because both of you broke faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I'm giving you to the people of Israel. Okay, remember, Moses was called, the first time, there was 2 instances involving water from a rock. The first time he was told to strike the rock. Okay, the second time God instructed him, speak to the rock. All right, and the reason this was so bad is to his disobedience is because he was misrepresenting God. And we can talk about that. We've already talked about it back when we went through those passages of misrepresenting God and how God hates that. And true Christians do hate that also, people misrepresenting God. And so because of the misrepresentation of who God is, God said, you can't go into that promised land because of that issue there. And so he wasn't allowed to go into the promised land. He was able to see it, okay, but he wasn't able to go into it, okay. But a little spoiler alert, Moses died, okay, but did Moses ever enter the promised land? Anyone know? Yes, he did. When Jesus came along, he was one in the Mount of Transfiguration, he was one that was up there talking with Jesus. Okay, so he actually then went into the promised land, but it was after his death that he went into the promised land. Just like after I die, after I have my physical death, I'll be in the promised land of heaven. Okay, and so in that same way that Moses died and then went into the promised land, was able to see that, I will also die and then I will go to heaven. So it's a good picture. This whole thing here is a good picture of the law is not going to get you into the promised land. Okay, you can obey the law, but you still have that sinful nature. You still have sin within you, and that sin keeps us from the presence of God. All right, so hopefully that explains everything. Tomorrow we're going to get into how Moses blesses the tribes, and then the last chapter of Deuteronomy is where he passes away and the reins are given over to Joshua. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Deuteronomy. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.